Hello and welcome to the new Murphy's Market Minute. Is this the first time we filmed one of these up here?
First time. First Murphy's Market Minute in a new studio.
Yeah, so we built this up on the third floor. We're definitely going to keep this to our time because I have a hard stop. All right. So, but you guys are going to see the studio and everything, all the work we've put into it over the next few videos.
Yep.
So today we're going to get into two things really quick. One is the stock market, and we have a special request, which is to go into all the Medicaid cuts that are going to devastate the Medicaid program and prevent anybody from being able to get Medicaid services.
Yep.
Right. So let's start with Medicaid, then let's get to the market. Nathaniel, what's the dollar value of the Medicaid cuts they're talking about making?
So the number you hear on the news is $880 billion.
$880 billion. Now, how many times when you hear them say $880 billion, do they tell you over what period of time?
Hardly ever. I'm sure on Fox News maybe.
Yes. So if I said I'm cutting $880 billion in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, which number do you think that is?
Well, if you watch most of the media, it sounds like it's 1 year, but it's not.
It's not. What is it?
It's 10 years.
It's 10 years, right? So let's just take the 880 and divide it by 10. What is that? It's 88 billion.
Yeah.
Right? Now, are they cutting it from Medicaid? Now, they'll tell you the Republicans are lying because in the bill, what word is not ever used in the bill?
What is it?
Medicaid.
Oh, really?
Nowhere in the bill is the word Medicaid mentioned. Okay? Now, the Democrats are going to tell you that this is a lie. Okay? Now, why do they say it's a lie? Do you know? Have you heard of this yet?
Well, let's hear it.
All right. It's because what the Republicans have done is they've instructed the House Committee on Energy and Commerce to cut $880 billion over the next 10 years. And Medicaid falls in under one of the agencies that's overseen by the House Committee on Energy and Commerce. All right. So, if you're a total nerd, you might already know what the House Committee on Energy and Commerce covers. What are some of the, do you know what some of the agencies are?
Isn't that, wasn't Department of Energy in there and stuff?
Okay. Yep. So, Department of Health and Human Services, which also covers Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the National Institutes of Health, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the Food and Drug Administration.
Oh, really?
Yep, just for starters. Then we move on to the Department of Energy. It also covers the EPA. It also covers the FCC. It also covers the NTIA, which is the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. It also covers the FTC, and it covers the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
I'm guessing with all those agencies that their budget's got to be quite big.
You think?
Yeah.
You think? Yeah. So let's just see how much money do they spend, or is that committee overseeing? Because that committee doesn't necessarily spend it, but it oversees the budget for all these organizations. It's $15.26 trillion. So I liked your analysis, which in our long form podcast, and I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But if you just do a basic, what is, and that's $15.26 trillion over the 10-year period of time.
Yeah.
The same as the $880 billion request in cuts over the 10-year period of time. So what percentage of $15.26 trillion is $880 billion?
I think you said something about 5.5 or so.
It's 5.77%.
Yeah.
Okay? So the Republican budget is requesting that this committee finds 5.77% of reduced spending.
Yeah.
Now, so why, if it's covering all those things, is the only thing mentioned Medicaid?
Because it's the easiest to cherry pick and show a victim to it.
Right.
And it's the best thing that catches the most views and clicks and all the above.
Right. I mean, it's got to just be pure manipulation because of all those things in there. What one thing covers the poor and minorities? Medicaid.
Yep.
So if you're trying to make out your opponents to be white, racist, billionaire, bigoted, cruel, unempathetic people,
Fits the narrative.
It fits the narrative. It helps create the narrative. So, anyways, total bullshit, but it is what it is. All right, now we have 1 more minute. So let's get into the markets. Same thing with the markets. Pretty much I've come to the conclusion that anything you hear is a lie some way, shape, or another. Just automatically assume that and try and figure out how, and you're probably going to have a pretty good view of things. So right now with the market being down, you're hearing all the reports of how many points it's down.
Yep.
And I always wondered, like, because sometimes they tell you a point, sometimes they tell percentage, right? There's no standard to it. And so right now the market's down, what was it, 2.5% for the year?
Yeah, I think depending on what it's at today, I know it's been kind of fluctuating above and below, but yeah, probably about 2.5, a little bit less.
Yeah. But how do they report it? They report it as points. It's down 1,500 points.
They love doing that.
Yeah, 1,500 sounds like a big deal.
I think it's down probably like a few hundred.
Hang on, ready?
Maybe not.
Yeah, the market's down less than 2%, 1.9%.
Okay.
1.9%. All right. But off of its high, okay, it's down about 500-600 points.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I tell you it's down 600 points,
sounds intense.
that sounds big. If I tell you it's down 1.9%, you're like, what? Huh? That's like not even inflation.
Yeah, they always cherry pick it. So whether like month to date sounds best, or year to date sounds best, or from all time highs it sounds best, they'll cherry pick it. And like you said, use the total value, like points instead of percentages.
Yep. So, anyways, sorry, I got to run. We made it quick. Check out our Long Form podcast for more information on it. This is Elliot
Nathaniel,
signing off from the new studio.
Oh yeah.